I guess I'll get started
With
with
the bottom
the
five?
bottom five here.
All right, bottom five to start.
Uh, Quick honorable mention to bottom five. Two movies I just despise that I want to mention. Um, Multiverse of Madness and Don't Worry, Darling. Just want to throw them
Oof.
in there.
Honorable
Toss-ins.
First,
mentions for the bottom five.
That it didn't make
massive.
the cut, but so the bottom five for me, we got Morbius. Not much you could like truly like one of the most remarkable pieces of cinema we've ever had.
It is remarkable.
Yeah, just great.
It's
Number
true.
fourth worst one, another remarkable piece of cinema. Um, Noah, as you know, Father Stew.
Oh
Oh,
Really
my god.
just
I've only seen the
truly
clips.
marvelous. Well, the whole you got to watch the whole thing to get the full picture.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
imagine.
Third worst one.
specifically when he gets hit by the car.
Of course,
Oh,
of course.
dude, that scene's so funny. That's actually top five scene of the year. And then third worst, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just very
Mm.
forgettable horror movie. Looked awful. The scares were just terrible. And then second worst, the Disney Pinocchio
Oof.
film.
Oof. That's tough.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket is possibly the worst voice acting performance I've ever heard. And my number one worst one is Blonde.
Yeah,
Just
fair.
yeah, nothing redeemable about it at all. Pretty disgusting movie, and pretty embarrassing that it was nominated for an Academy Award.
I will not be
And
venturing
yeah,
down that path.
and there
Can't
we
blame
go.
you there. All right.
That was my bottom
Let's
five.
do my bottom five here. At my number five, worst of the year, I've got Bullet Train.
Oh,
I
Worst of the year.
worst. It's like
I
Wow.
did
fun. It's like
and I
fun.
didn't see that many bad films this year. But Bullet Train I just couldn't get behind. I thought it was a lot of schlock with very little substance. I didn't think it was, I didn't think the action was very fun. I thought there was some redeemable moments, but overall, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know why. It just didn't hit with me.
I get it.
I do think it is a good little romp if you want it, but it was between this or Elvis or Christmas with You for my number five
Whoa,
spot.
whoa,
Um,
calm down there.
Oh, sorry. I
but
thought you said that was number one. I was never mind.
no, it's not my number one. It's not my number one. My number four is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. It's really not that. It's really not anything special. Um, it's a film that really didn't need to be a sequel to anything. It could have just been a fun, 83-minute slash 'em up, but it it really didn't create any mystique to Leatherface. It just kind of exists in its little space, being a January horror film that nobody will remember.
All right.
At my number three worst of the year, I have Uncharted. Yeah, this is really bad. As it goes with most of the video game adaptations that Hollywood likes to pick up, it also doesn't really feature anything that memorable, except for maybe a few sequences that you can remember playing in some of the video games. Clearly, it was a film that Mark Wahlberg wanted to make for a long time, but him as Nathan Drake and not as Victor Sullivan. Um, and Tom Holland, this baby-faced little boy playing the adventurer Nathan Drake, does not really work. Um, most of the action sequences are CGI fests. There's not really any soul behind it. It really doesn't capture any of the heart of the video games, and I would even say is a worse version of the Lara Croft Tomb Raider films.
Fair.
Um, Moving on to my second worst of the year, I have Tall Girl 2. Um,
You're the only person I know who has watched both of those movies.
I watched Tall Girl 1 in a daze one day a couple years ago, and I felt the need to watch the sequel. Is it somehow better than the first one? It is, but I can't give myself the strength to actually rate it higher than it. So it is my second least favorite of the year. It is very, very bad. They do try to right some of the wrongs of the first one, so the social politics of the first one. But at the end of the day, it's a teen romp that you don't really buy anything that's going on. It's just romance for the sake of romance, and it's just drama for the sake of drama with no substance. Every character is an archetype, and it really doesn't work. My least favorite of the year is Morbius.
Oh,
It's not very good.
Boo.
Like we all don't
I
like it, but
really,
you can't put it the worst. Like
I
You did-
really,
Did you not read the Book of Morb? I guess not.
I guess I didn't.
Had
guess-
more of an appreciation for
He's
it.
he's not a Morbite.
I'm not a Morbite. I was really hoping I was really hoping that I would walk into it. You know, I saw it later than a lot of people did after all like
too.
the hype and the re-release in the theaters. And I was expecting it to be charmingly fun. It was honestly just kind of boring, and I really disliked everything that Jared Leto was trying to do with the character. And I thought the action was even worse than I dare say the action in Multiverse of Madness. And
Yep.
probably the worst comic book action I have seen in a film since I would say Fan Four Stick. It's I really didn't get anything good out of it, and it only exists as a vehicle to try to convince Marvel to get Tom Holland to do a Sinister Six film for them, and it really doesn't work. So yeah, that's my bottom 5.
Except for the
Shame.
end credit scene, but you know.
Oh boy, that
That end credit scene is an all-timer.
it's an
I don't know
all-timer.
why I'm here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man.
We should team up.
But
Alright.
you can't see my face.
Yeah. All right, Spencer.
All right, good
Hit
bomb
us.
5.
Am I up?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. What? I mean, can we later we're gonna have to unpack this whole analysis of Tall Girl 2. That was a very in-depth analysis.
It was.
I thank you. I mean, at number 5, I'm starting off with Morbius. I'm kind of on the polar opposite of you, Noah, where like I just feel like it was pretty awful, but there's a lot of fun to be had. And maybe it was because I watched it and I finally saw the entire film after the meme had taken place. But it was definitely a very enjoyable experience of trash. So I don't have the heart to put it at number 1.
Fair.
Number 4
Understandable.
is The Matrix Resurrections.
Really?
Was that last year?
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
I thought that was 2021.
Well, I might have messed that up then, but
Came out in December.
Th-
That's why.
this is my
I
moment
see.
to crap on it anyway, though, because it
All
was
right,
a
all
very lifeless and disgusting
Wow.
little spit on the original Matrix name that didn't need to be made at all, you know? At number 3, I have Uncharted.
Fair.
I'm
Basic.
also on the Uncharted train where like I really like Tom Holland as an actor, but when you make a movie where, like Noah said, it has this kind of soulless feel, kind of like just made in a studio product line, cookie cutter action movie with no heart, you're not gonna have a good formula, even if you have Tom Holland. So it's kind of sucked. Number 2, going to Don't Worry Darling as well. That was a pretty awful
Alright.
experience, but I have to say Don't Worry Darling definitely produced the greatest media circus around a movie I've seen in a while, and I enjoyed kind of the lead up to the actual film way more than the actual film. I don't know, it just like it felt like it tried to have all these like grand twists and turns that it really didn't earn yet, and it didn't want to do the work to earn them at all. And it kind of presents you with this thing that happens at the end of what the film is really about, and it just doesn't really it doesn't make sense. It just kind of falls apart at the seams in the end, and it really left a sour taste in my mouth. And with that cast, I think it should have been better, even with Harry Styles. And I love Harry, but acting's not his thing, you know.
No, I
Might
agree.
not be.
Chris
So-
Pine performance of the year though.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
100%.
Chris Pine's always great. Miss Flo was great. You know.
I actually,
It- I-
you know, sorry, I didn't think she was that good in it. I thought she was pretty bad actually. I don't know. I thought
I mean,
But-
I don't think it was her
yeah.
best, for sure.
Yeah.
But like, it sounds like to hold together a quality performance or a quality enough performance, amidst all the crap that was going on that production. Like, I commend her.
yeah, it's
You know?
true.
But other than that, number one, all I'm gonna say is number one, it has to be The Man from Toronto.
Ooh.
Oh,
It wasn't even funny. It was formulaic. It made me dislike Woody Harrelson, which I hate. That's never happened before, you know? And I think it's offensive to everybody that is from Toronto because there was nothing Torontonian about that. And they played us. Ass.
Yeah, that movie just fell right off my radar right when I heard the title. I was like,
Yeah,
I heard about it once and then never thought about it ever again.
I heard about it once and I saw Kevin Hart and I just never
Oh, Understandable.
went back.
I'm just annoyed that that movie is tied to Toronto's name now. You know?
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It's awful.
There's not a lot of movies that take place in Toronto that are mainstream.
All right. Well,
true.
those were quite a few stinkers you got there.
Any?
And I think with my bottom five, there's a nice little theme of just it's definitive Hollywood.
Okay.
Just they're all just like you'll see. So number 5, I got Thor: Love and Thunder by one of my favorite directors. Unfortunately, love Taika, but this movie was an absolute mess. There wasn't a single moment of emotional impact except for Natalie Portman like saying she's gonna die. It was just I just hated it. I hated it. There was so little to do with like Chris Hemsworth as the character Thor. He was just like along for the ride, and every single set piece just wanted to be wacky and silly. It was just so uncohesive. Just like, yeah, the poster and the colors, it's just like they're going way too zany. I hated it. It sucked. Then we have Black Adam, another superhero entry in here. I don't know if you lads saw it, but
I
it was
forgot
trying
about that.
so hard to
Did
be
not
Marvel.
see it.
Every single character is just a Marvel character. Pierce Brosnan is just Doctor Strange. We have Noah Centineo being Ant-Man. Then we have I don't even know. We have Falcon. I don't even know the character's name in Black Adam. He was actually not bad though. But it was just so lame. The two heroes that they brought along were so pointless. There was one note to the whole movie. Wow, he's bad, but he's like kind of good at the same time.
So it's Morbius, basically.
Slightly more enjoyable Morbius. And then we have The Death on the Nile.
Oh,
I don't know if
Oh,
any of you saw
God.
that either.
Didn't see it.
But I think Murder on the Orient Express is the most like fine murder mystery. It's like any just like non-moviegoer would watch and be like, you know, kind of a mystery there. It was all right. This one was just so lifeless. The characters were very over the top and like, it was just. I feel like I'm struggling to describe why all these movies are bad just because they're all just like Hollywood schlock and I hate it. But the next one, Morbius. I mean, we all had Morbius. And it was enjoyable because of the memes. If there was no memes, this movie would just suck. Let's be honest here. But I agree. It's like, why were they fighting in the end, guys? Somebody tell me why the final fight happened. Why are they fighting each other?
Oh yeah, there's no reason for it.
And it's like
I still don't
they're not
even
gonna
know what
like
they were
destroy the
conflict
world.
was.
They're just fighting each other for the sake of destroying each other. There's no like stakes for like the world to be harmed. It's just like they just don't like each other. They got beef and then they're fighting. Morbius. And then my least favorite is Uncharted, which
Wow.
Nice.
definitively just Hollywood. crap.
Well, you guys have
Lifeless.
inspired me to not see it.
Yeah, man, Mark Wahlberg, he kind of sucks. He's kind of
It's a bad year for him.
It was a very bad year for him.
But Father Stu, it's
But
great.
Father Stu, you're right. In that same breath, but Father Stu.
I know you guys put it on your worst list, but I think you've enticed me to actually go watch it. I feel like I need to hate it with you. You know?
You might need to.
There's
I don't know. I
there's
saw it
some
like
of
at the
those
beginning of the
movies
year, and I don't remember it very much, and I don't want to. So I'm just gonna end it there.
Well, it's a perfect sell. for me.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. We got some stinkers. A lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
No more
A lot of
Tall Girl 2 representation, sadly.
Oh, sorry.
sad.
No, I didn't. I didn't end up checking.
I
it
didn't
out,
check it out.
unfortunately.
It's a quick 97-minute romp.
A brisk 97 minutes.
Fun little romp.
And Steve Zahn's in it. Like, you can't go
Oh,
wrong.
let's go. I will say, the one outlier that I disagreed with. Sorry, Spencer. I actually enjoyed Matrix 4, but
Yeah,
Oh,
I understand why. You
I
can
was
see
not
it
a
was,
fan.
like, it did kind of just come out of nowhere and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, I get why. I had fun with it though. It does have Jonathan Groff, so understandable.
I kind of want to pipe in
I
on Matrix there too because
Love
like,
me some John Groff.
I know you do.
Well, I'm trying to look at my letterbox and see what I would replace it with. And honestly, I think I would probably replace it with Thor: Love and Thunder
Yeah.
or Not Okay.
What's that?
Not
Oh, it's
Okay
the
is this movie.
the influencer movie, right?
Yeah, I watched it with my girlfriend, and I don't know. You know what? It's kind of a weird case where like the movie was pretty well made. Like the characters were decently written. Like they were interesting enough characters, but like the protagonist was so unlikable, and that was the point of the movie. But it's just like there has to be like something kind of redeeming in my eyes. But that's just me. The whole
Yeah,
point of the movie
exactly.
in the end is basically she's like asking herself if she's gonna get a redemption arc without spoiling what she does. Like, and then it ends and she's like, some people don't deserve it and stuff. And I'm like, what was the point of me watching that then? I just watched like this influencer do shitty things for 2 hours and then get caught for it. You know, like my life's not really changed here. I don't know. I feel like I would put that one there
Yeah,
instead
I
of
never really heard
Matrix.
of it. Yeah, I think.
I feel 'cause
I have
Zoe
no
Zoe
interest
Dutch, the
in
main
that
actress,
one.
is actually pretty good. She's a good actress.
Yeah, she's good in some other things.
And Dylan O'Brien's in it too. Like the
Dylan.
performances weren't bad. It's just something about it. I just really did not like the point of the movie.
True.
Hmm.
Yeah. Last thing before we start, I think that my opinion of Matrix, I think the first like quarter of it was awesome. When they were setting up that the Matrix might actually have been fake the whole time, but then they were just like, "Oh no, it's real," and then they didn't back down on that. Like the final moments of the climax, they weren't like questioning it again. They were just like, "All right, yeah, Matrix is real. Yeah, okay."
I find that's the issue with all the Matrix sequels is like they open it up with like a new idea or a new way to think of what the Matrix is and can be, and then they just completely abandon it in the second half. Like they
Yeah.
did that in the second one too.
They think
It's
we
just-
like
yeah.
the real world dystopia that they created, but everyone just wants to be in the Matrix doing crazy stuff. But they keep going back to the real world.
I've really only liked 2 Matrix movies though, to be honest. Like I'm not really like a purist about it.
I think I only like
But-
one.
Yeah,
really.
neither am I.
But I was like, oh man, like this movie has a lot of hard judgments against it just going into watching it because it's like you gotta justify why this movie was made, you know,
True.
especially
Yeah,
after the third one.
that's
The
fair.
third one, I know the second one's not the best, but like I have a lot of enjoyment from it because I watched it when I was younger. But the third one
Yeah,
is
and
just
the second
ass, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's really
You
bad.
kind of got to justify why you were making it, and for me, it just didn't land. So
I agree. All right. So now for the actual best of 2022. I'll start. My number 10 was on my most anticipated list last year, and it's my favorite genre. And I think it was just, it was really solid. There was a few questions, but I do like some of the questions it posed and the general themes. I like Nope quite a bit. I think earlier in the year I had it a bit lower just because the ending was a bit ambiguous, and there were a few things I was questioning. But the more I thought about it, the more I really did like it. And yeah, I love what happens with the alien and everything. I think the biggest thing is like, I think they should have kept the secret of what the alien thing was for longer. I feel like it was like very quick that it became apparent what it was. I do like that build up and that mysteriousness, but still, when they were like trying to record everything, that was so fun. That was awesome. I love that. But yeah, Nope is my number 10. We'll move on to Noah. What is your number 10?
Period action film, gothic in nature, some fantastic, brutal action, some fantastic melodrama, and some absolutely banger performances from Alexander Skarsgård, Claes Bang, Ethan Hawke, and I love to see Bjork getting some love in the theater this time of year and this decade. I hope to see her back. Only thing I could have improved on the movie is seeing her a little bit more, but they did a great job with this one. Can't wait to see what Eggers does next, if he chooses to go back to the action genre or if he wants to keep going with his horror films. This one hit in all the right ways, epic in scale, but just an absolute heart turner when it comes to the action. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Alrighty.
Hell
Okay,
yeah. Agree with every word.
I do as
Me
well.
too. Good pick.
Kyle, what is your number 10?
It's not too long, and the third act kind of drags a little bit, but yeah, just really great cast too. Justin Long's obviously the big standout in it, I think.
There's that one cut to Justin
the
Long
storyline.
that's just iconic.
Oh, it's so good. The whole introducing his character in the car, I actually think it was really well done. And anything they do with like commentary, it's done well. It's really subtle. It's not in your face, and I thought the ending was a good payoff too. Can't really call it a horror, really, like more of a dark comedy too. But yeah, I think it was perfect for what it was trying to be, and I've rewatched it once, and I'll continue to. Really great.
Agreed.
It's my number 10.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Perfect. Spencer.
I only have one honorable mention this year at this time because of all the 2022 movies that I've seen. But my one honorable mention is also Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It was just fun.
Yeah.
It was very kind of stressful and frantic. And it didn't really take itself too seriously. I feel like it kind of knew what it wanted to be. It had a good grasp on what some of these characters were really like in real life. And kind of like it really kind of spoke to our generation in a way that wasn't corny. And yeah, just a bit of a surprise. But I would say my number 10 is going to be Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It was a lot of fun. I kind of went into this movie knowing that it wasn't going to have to do too much for me to enjoy it. I feel like a lot of people get when people have discourse about this film, they get caught up in kind of like what the mystery actually is, when it was never really about the mystery. It's about a lot of like amazing actors kind of like coming together and making these interesting characters and seeing them play off each other. That's what's fun about it, really. And Daniel Craig, of course, is Benoit Blanc. So I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I went in knowing that was all it had to do for me. If like there was interesting enough performances and Daniel Craig was just having fun, I would enjoy it. And I don't know. I think Rian Johnson is a pretty decent writer, despite whatever your opinion is on The Last Jedi. I know it's a controversial topic, but yeah, it was just a really enjoyable theater experience for me. When I saw it, I chose to watch it in the theater instead of just watching it straight on Netflix. But it was just a good film, and I love watching actors just having fun while they're performing and not taking it way too seriously.
Alrighty. Solid choice.
Awesome.
Solid choice. All right. Now, on to my number 9. And my number 9, it wasn't on my most anticipated list, but once I heard about it, it probably would have been, because it's by a director that I really, really love. All of his other movies are like at least 8 or 9s out of 10s. And it is Decision to Leave by Park Chan-wook.
Mm.
And I think
I
that
gotta see it.
I saw it in theaters and it was awesome, but it definitely is confusing at points. But I think, again, it's one of those ones like Nope, where the more I think about it, the more I really do like it and appreciate what he was going for. If I had my own Oscars and I had to choose different categories, Decision to Leave would win Best Directing, like, hands down, like, very easily. I think that the way that he uses technology, not only as a narrative device in the script, but just the way it's presented, because we've seen so many phone calls in movies, so many texts where it's just like, it's not engaging whatsoever, but he uses technology in such a really, really good way with graphics, just with interweaving it with the plot. There's a plot moment where a detective he has the victim's phone and they're going up a mountain and he's trying to like recount the steps because it like counted the steps on his phone or like his smartwatch or something. There's a lot of things with like voice memos, things like that. And it's also just, it's very romantic. It's very thematically deep with like the mountains, the waters, just like the settings really engulf the narrative. And it's just such a great movie. He never disappoints. I think like every single movie that I've seen from him is a masterpiece, from like Joint Security Area, any Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, anything like that. They're all masterpieces, and I hope you guys all go watch it at some point because I thought it was great. And then we have Noah, your number 9.
Yes, Decision to Leave is definitely one of my blind spots of the year. I did not get a chance to watch it, sadly. It was hard to find, but it'll be one of the first that I need to see after this.
Oh, yes.
My number 9 was a very underappreciated film from this year. It did receive a singular Oscar nomination. I think it should have received more, and I think it should have been a bigger one. But it is The Quiet Girl by Colm Barrett from Ireland. It received a nomination for not foreign language feature, but international feature from Ireland. This is a fantastic film about youth and about trauma and about guilt and grief and about finding your place within family. And it is just a fantastic piece of Irish cinema. It is such a personal story. It is really well shot. There's a fantastic score behind it. The dialogue is crisp, and the family drama is palpable. It is such a personal story. It's a very easy watch, lengthwise, but a very difficult watch emotionally. I really wish this got more love out there during award season, but it is quite good. Yeah, 100% go watch it. Can't go wrong.
Okay.
All right. Very good choice.
Gotta
I
see
don't
that.
think any of us have seen that, so yeah. Kyle, you're number 9.
All right. Leading into my number 9, I just want to say, like, you guys have helped, expand my repertoire in the films I see, make me think of, new ways to look at movies purely outside of entertainment. I have you guys to thank for that because you're all in some ways involved in film. And with that said, my number 9 is Jackass Forever. Because
Yes. Yes.
because I have to be reminded every once in a while. It blew my mind just watching this, how just the dumb ape in me just laughs at the dumbest shit ever and gets so much enjoyment out of it. And yeah, I just think this was like a perfect, if this is the final Jackass movie, I think it should be, because it goes off on a perfect high note. You could tell they really like took advantage of the bigger budget they had and like put so much effort into it and making these these stunts just massive in scale. And like, they got some more celebrity cameos too. And like, yeah, like Machine Gun Kelly was in it. And they even got PK Subban. And I just think it was like it hit every way. It's so much fun. It's got a lot of heart to it, surprisingly. And yeah, again, it just brings me back to like that, even though I always am looking for, new themes in film and complex themes. It's good to be reminded of the little things that make you laugh. So
Of
yeah,
course.
that's my number 1 or my number
I-
9.
Great choice.
I can't blame you. It was my number 15. It still hit my it still got up there on my list.
Yeah,
So
like
I can't
It does. Like yeah.
it hit the mark. It's a solid time.
Did hit the mark. Totally agree.
All
Yeah.
right.
It was my 9.
Perfect. Spencer, you're number 9.
My number 9 is gonna be Nope,
Yeah.
directed by Jordan
Alright.
Peele. Like I really enjoyed Nope, you know. Uh, but I almost feel bad for Jordan Peele because he's getting to this point where he's always going to be his next film that is coming out is always going to be compared to the heights of Get Out, which is completely unfair, because although like this was kind of billed as like a horror movie, it was kind of like this almost this sci-fi mystery in a way, you know. It kind of spanned lots of genres, and he took lots of inspiration from the things that he's always stated that he enjoyed as a child, and how his childhood is important to filmmaking. But I don't know, Jordan Peele, anything that he's directing, I'll go watch in the theaters, and I will enjoy. But this one, I just felt like the hype was so high, and I expected so much of what he was setting up because of who has become with his name, that the ending kind of fell flat when all the stuff was finally revealed about what was going on in the plot. So
Yeah,
I-
I see it.
I'm in
So-
kind of like this weird middle ground where it's like it's in ninth, but it's also kind of disappointing to me because I felt like at the beginning of the year it probably could have been a lot higher. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I give it a
totally agree.
solid four stars.
Yeah, that's
It
fair.
was I definitely go see it again. But I would like to mention that I think it should have been a little bit higher with Jordan Peele's pedigree and the expectation that he's already set with his
Mhm.
first 2 films. So
Yeah.
That being said, though, like some great performances. Daniel Kaluuya is always great.
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer was the standout.
Yeah, she was great. She was
And
phenomenal.
I forget what the tech support guy from Brandon Perea.
Hmm.
As
Oh yeah,
Angel
he was
Torres.
great.
He was awesome. He was also a standout, and Stephen Yeun, although like I actually think Stephen Yeun is a great actor, but this was kind of like a weird role for him, I feel like he could have gone darker. That's kind of like just like a couple of the things that really would have stopped this from getting higher up on my list, because I feel like it kind of had that hype going for it,
I totally agree. I see what you mean. Alrighty. That was your number 9. My number 8. I wasn't expecting for this to crack the list, but I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. It was kind of like a smaller story with a cool twist on the characters that was just, yeah, it was very personal, very weird at times. I really liked Bones and All quite a bit.
Mm.
Timmy, he's kind of doing the same thing in a lot of his movies, but like, hey, I think this is like his ideal role. Yeah, just weird, lanky guy who, eats people. And yeah, I don't know. It's these two people connect, but I think a lot of like the small intricacies with the world that they're building, because yeah, it is a very small movie, kind of road trippy a bit, but it's just about these two characters trying to figure out their place in the world. And I don't know, Luca, he makes great movies, and yeah, I don't know. I weirdly like this one quite a bit. So yeah, that's my number 8.
Nice.
Bones and All. Noah, what is your number 8, sir?
My numero 8. My number 8 is After Sun.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to
So
expect
that's-
going into seeing After Sun. I really didn't know what to expect. All I knew is there was a lot of lesser known, unnamed actors, and then Paul Mescal, who himself hasn't had a lot of major roles yet in noteworthy films or television series. Maybe Normal People, that was a pretty big show, but still he's still a growing actor, and he was helming this film about memory and about holding on to distant ideas of our family and our parents. How much do we really know about our parents? How much do we really know about the ones we love? And After Sun is that in a nutshell. It is a very personal story. It is a very emotional story, but not on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in, it should be a story about looking back on positive memories, but it's more about looking back on searching for the positive memories to truly remember those who we held dear. Fantastic film. I recommend anybody to see it. I wish it got a little bit more love in the awards scene, and I wish Paul Mescal, I hope Paul Mescal the best as he pursues bigger roles in the future, including Gladiator and going farther as a leading man. I think it'll be great.
He'll probably be
I
like,
was
Sun.
shocked. I was shocked
Oh.
how lack of awards it got. Honestly,
Yeah.
I heard it was.
Yeah.
I heard it was really good. Got a lot of
It's
buzz.
fantastic. Yeah, it should have got more buzz, to be honest, but it is a very, very good movie. I would definitely recommend to see it, and I've also heard great things about Charlotte Wells' short films, Lapse and Tuesday. I've heard those ones are very good as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what Wells comes up with afterwards.
all right. I feel like they're gonna
Gonna
try
check it
to
out.
put Paul Mescal in a Marvel movie at some point. That's my bold prediction.
I hope he doesn't take it. He's too indie. He's too indie.
Oh,
He's way
I
too
don't know.
indie. He's the
Just wait
internet's
till
boyfriend
Robert
right now.
Eggers' Marvel movie comes out.
Oh no.
Oh God.
What will the world become? All right, Kyle, number 8.
My number 8. I didn't think this was gonna crack it, but I find myself rewatching scenes to it all the time. It's Top Gun Maverick.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. There's not much more you could say about it. Like this movie is what it is. I think it's like an amazing achievement. Like just because like there's been this, ridiculous thought that the original Top Gun is an action movie, which is completely incorrect on all fronts. And weirdly enough, the worst part of the original is like the in-air sequences. They kind of look like shit. They don't even do it that well, I don't think. And yeah, it just looks incredible. I'm just happy that, thank God, Miles Teller is back after fucking Divergent movies and Fan Four Stick and that awkward moment. And like after Whiplash, we thought this guy was gonna rule the world, and he kind of fell off a bit, took some bad Hollywood parts, and he's so great in this movie. Got a lot of personality. All the actors in it play their part really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only issue with it, honestly, is like I think the Val Kilmer stuff is terrible. Like it's awful, but
Did you?
it's just
It drags it down.
I don't know. It did drag it down too much for me. Like it's just I didn't see the need, honestly. I thought it was just really going well. And I don't even see how it fit into the ending. And the ending, by the way, is like what brings it home for me. I think it's great. And it makes, moms happy because no one dies. None of the main characters die. So it's good for people, and there's a reason it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Tom Cruise
Yeah.
will not die in a film until he dies making a film, and I will live by that.
And there's
He
probably
will
something
never.
in his
Yeah,
contract saying,
he will
yeah,
never-
use that cut. Use that cut, please.
It's so true. But yeah, that's my number 8.
It's a great
Alrighty.
pick.
Side note, I'm sorry, the Lady Gaga song is atrocious. It's
Oh,
awful.
it's fine.
It's like
It's fine.
it's horrible, man. It's,
It's not horrible.
god awful.
I think it's
It's
fine.
I didn't know you felt so strongly
horrendous.
about it.
Oh no, yeah, her performance at the Oscars was fine, but that song is atrocious.
I think it fits in
Like,
the moment.
It's not her best, but it's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
It's no Shallows, Spencer, number 8.
Number 8. My number 8 is And you know what? I'm honestly surprised that I'm saying this today because I actually watched this like fairly recently. But my number 8 is actually going to be Babylon.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a Chazelle fanboy.
me too, me
You know,
too.
it's been
of
established.
course.
Um, I'll watch anything that he makes, you know. But leading up to Babylon, there was just something weird about it where like I don't know, I maybe I have like Brad Pitt fatigue or something. I just wasn't feeling it. I wanted him to make a much smaller movie again, you know? And this one just felt so big. It felt like he was straying away from the heights of like Whiplash and to some extent La La Land, because although La La Land was pretty big, it was still a smaller project with the ambitions of being big, you know? But I don't know. I saw it recently, and Margot Robbie and Diego Calva and Damien just blew me away. I wasn't even I didn't really enjoy Brad Pitt's performance as much and stuff, and he was billed as one of the top stars, right? He was just kind of doing his thing. It was like he was on autopilot.
Just being a
But I
movie
don't know.
star.
Yeah. Um, Surprisingly, in many ways, I feel like this is like one of the, if not the movie of Damien Chazelle's career that speaks to his actual voice in what he thinks about like the whole industry, you know, which is kind of weird. And I wouldn't say it's his best film, but I thought for his Damien Chazelleisms, it was pretty great. He had me hooked. I would have made it a little bit shorter. It dragged on a lot.
Yep.
Like we got to like Tobey Maguire in the 3 hour mark. It was a bit crazy. But hey man, I'll watch anything that he makes. So
Yeah, I agree.
still
It was
gotta
a
see
weird
it.
one.
solid. It was weird, but that's not a bad thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm very mixed on it, but good thoughts, good thoughts. All right. So that means we're on to my number 7.
Lucky number 7.
And here, what is my number 7? Let me see. Ah, yes. Um, this one feels weird to have at number 7 because it was just enjoyable. It's Glass Onion. I don't know how I feel about it. um, Glass
Be
Onion,
happy
it was just
with it.
fun, and
Stand
it
your
really
ground.
was a lot of fun to watch with you and my brother in theaters, Kyle. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it
his
was fun.
writing is just it's quippy. The actors all doing a great job. Um, yeah, I don't know. I thought the ending was a bit trash. Honestly, I don't think the ending was tied it up very nicely. As in just like what kind of happens at the end. I think the unwinding of the mystery, of course, it's very much a lot of fun. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one because it kind of falls under the guilty pleasure category, but it definitely does still have a lot of merit to it. I do like Ryan Johnson a lot, and his writing is very fun, and he just knows how to make a fun time. So, I very much enjoyed watching it.
The ending really did drag it down for me
Yeah.
when I watched it.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like
I think
feel-
everyone felt that way.
Have you seen it, Spencer? Right? Oh yeah, you did. You have it on your list right there.
Yeah, I put it at number 10.
Yeah, when everything's like on fire, it's like they're not sweating at all. One thing, the CGI wasn't great, and it's like, why?
You didn't
as
need it.
well.
Yeah.
This chemical that just is very volatile. Oh wow. Yeah, there's some weird parts, but hey, it was a good time. All right, Noah, number 7.
Number 7. Oh boy, this one stuck with me, man. This one stuck with me. You got the Crone Show's Crimes of the Future, baby.
Ooh.
That's such a Noah
baby.
pick.
Hell
It-
yeah, I love
It's a Noah pick, all right, but man,
it.
did this movie just like it's like I was a fan. I haven't seen Infinity Pool yet, but I was a fan of Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor. I really liked
I
Possessor
love
quite a bit.
Possessor.
And I watched Crimes of the Future, and man, David just said, "Sit down, kid." Like this is dystopian future right here, and I love both those films so much, but Crimes of the Future, just I don't know, for me, it understands or it's trying to explore a couple concepts very, very well. And it's trying to take a look at artistic expression and bodily autonomy in uh post post capitalism, essentially. What do we have left to express, and how can we express? And how does the ruling class want to limit that? And I felt like Crony did such a fantastic job at exploring that idea, exploring the taboos of post capitalism and hellscape, uh, climate change, um, trans expression, all in this just cacophony of just images and dialogue choices and everything. Just the government turmoil and the interpersonal relationships crumbling, artistic relationships crumbling. Um, it's just such a wild ride, and I am such a fan of Cronenberg. I love his work, and there hasn't been a film that I've seen from him that I haven't enjoyed. And Crimes of the Future just did it for me. And I really hope that the man who's pushing 80, he turned 80 yesterday.
Wow.
And this guy
Oh my God.
is he's still pushing bangers, and I really hope he's got one more left in the tank, because I really want to see what else he comes up with.
Well,
I
I
knew you
know
were gonna
we've
put it
had
there.
quite a few conversations on Crimes of the Future, but oh yeah, it's like he is a master at what he does,
And it gives
he's
you a lot to think about, even if
exactly
it's not,
that's the whole.
even if I
That's
didn't find it perfect.
a very unified
That's all you
statement
can
of his
ask for
movies.
from him. Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a
Also,
thought-provoking.
the guy's also Saul Tenser might be the greatest lead character name of all time.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
That is a good name.
Saul
it's
Tenser.
That is
it's brilliant.
And Lea Seydoux incredible
Wow.
too.
She is. She is
She's a good actress.
Yeah, she's
Very
great.
good actress.
quite.
Everybody
Very
played their
underrated.
parts very well. Everybody played their parts very, very well in this one. I very much enjoyed it.
Also, sorry, Noah, your mic's like cutting out every little bit. I don't know if that's just me or was everyone else hearing that. I don't know. It's probably just my
I'll
Wi-Fi.
I'll see what I can
Oh,
do.
look, yeah.
It's probably just my Wi-Fi. Just confirming.
Yeah, he
No
sounded
problem,
pretty
no
fine to
problem.
me. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
Kyle, what is your number 7?
My number 7, I'm hopping on with you, Josh, is Glass Onion.
All right.
Surprisingly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not looking for too much. I just I'm a sucker for Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
I love his writing, and I'm also a sucker for Daniel Craig, man, because he is just like this might be like number 16 for me if Daniel Craig wasn't in this movie. Like he is so good as Detective Blanc.
Yeah.
Like it's truly amazing, and I love all the little mannerisms in his character and the monologues he goes on. I'm just totally invested in it. To me, the two standouts in this movie are him and Edward Norton. Just yeah, I'd like to see Edward Norton in more comedies. I'm a big Ed guy. Yeah,
Norton.
I don't know. Even though I've heard he's kind of a piece of shit, but no, he's a good actor. But yeah, I don't know. The ending is kind of whatever for me. It drags it down, but it doesn't ruin the characters for me at all. And I think I've rewatched it 3 times actually, and I don't
Oh,
know. I'm
wow.
still always invested. I'm not bored by it at all. I don't think any of it drags. Even though the ending's a little ridiculous, I still think it does well. It's good enough to hold my attention, and the first half is just so good that yeah, I'll continue to rewatch this. Probably not as good as the original Knives Out, but
Yeah, I
still
agree.
solid.
I agree as well.
Alrighty.
And
Spencer, number 7.
7. Number
Uh,
7.
At number 7, I'm putting RRR.
All right.
Ooh.
Great film, very enjoyable. Kind of, I feel like over the past couple of months, I've definitely been having a little bit more of a foray into Indian cinema. Between my roommate and a couple of my friends out here on the West Coast in Vancouver. So I don't know. It was just an all around enjoyable film, like in kind of like this beautiful tale of friendship and action packed with some of the craziest fight sequences and stylistic choices that I've ever seen. And maybe somebody that's watched a lot of Indian films, um, it might not have like felt that way, but it felt very new and unique to me. And I feel like the way it's gone through the award circuit this year, um, I feel like other people feel the same way as me too. There's this crazy fight sequence at the beginning that is honestly like one of the greatest action scenes I've ever seen.
That's
was
my
insane.
favorite scene in the whole movie. Yeah.
You know which
Still
one I'm
gotta-
talking about.
I
right?
still
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
watch it.
Best scene in the movie.
It was insane. Absolutely insane. So, round of applause to all the people behind this film. I'm definitely gonna be delving deeper into it.
All right.
Hell
Good
yeah.
choice. Good choice.
Still gotta watch it.
RRR. All right. That means my number 6. And my number 6 is just a movie I think is just insanely well made. The lead performance was insane as well. Tar. Really liked Tar. I think that's, yeah, it was just, it moved very slowly, but just like watching this one character just like go mad, go crazy. And I think that's the very ending, the last scene, the last shot was just a perfect encapsulation of the entire movie. It was at points it was a tough movie to get through in a good way. It's just situations that just linger for so long, and like she's like not doing the best thing, but you're seeing where all the motivations come from, and just the silent tension between everybody in it. And Todd Field just went crazy here. He went crazy, and it was great. I really loved Tar. It was awesome.
Still gotta watch it, man. I know. I think I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, it was great. Just absolutely polished, insanely well done, original piece of work. Yeah, you don't see them too often, so gotta appreciate that it's here. So yeah, Tar is my number 6. All right, Noah, what is your number 6?
Number 6 is Nope.
Nope.
We've talked a lot about Nope lately. Jordan Peele, fantastic director, has done some great work on the big screen, and Nope, I really enjoyed. I feel like it's just exactly what I was hoping for it to be. It wasn't as horror heavy as I expected it, but I think it handles sci-fi themes very well. I think it's conversation between real life and the art we try to create out of real life is a very interesting conversation to have. The way that the screen and the camera interact with nature is a very interesting topic to unpack with this film. And I find that Jordan Peele really likes to explore that. See it in Get Out, with how I really enjoy in Get Out the little Easter eggs we see in the commercial for the family while Daniel Kaluuya is sitting in the chair. I really like that scene. And I really wished that we got more of that vibe, that sort of eeriness in the big screen. And all the scenes with Gordy's show are just so eerie
Oh yeah.
and so brilliant. I just love
so
that
good.
I love those sequences in the Gordy show. I love that. And you get that same feeling when you're watching Stephen Yeun's character try to coax out the alien. I love that.
Yeah.
Trying to control nature through entertainment. I love those little nuances to the film. I really, really enjoy that. There's so much that I enjoyed. I loved Antlers Holst, which I think rivals um, uh, David Cronenberg's character naming um, as the Antlers Holst, the director, who is obsessive with finding the balance between nature and death, or nature, predator and prey. I love it, love it, love it. And I think it's just such a wild ride throughout it. And the chemistry between the cast is fantastic. And I couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was fantastic. I can't wait to own it on 4K.
All
The
right.
director was a standout for sure.
He was
Oh,
great.
100%.
He was great. Great character.
All right. Kyle, number 6.
My number 6 is the Batman.
Ooh.
That is what I'm putting there. I still have yet to watch it a second time, so I'm curious because I know it's like 3 hours long. I'm curious to see like how well it holds up. I also want to get like a good memory of the ending, but like, yeah, I actually think like if you guys have read Spencer's review on Letterbox, I think it sums up well. Like, it's just a perfect like. I never read the comics of Batman. I watched like the animated show growing up, and as much as I love the movies, I always separated them completely between like the live action and the cartoons. And I thought this one like was just made me feel like I was watching a cartoon again. Honestly, like it's just I loved seeing Detective Batman. All the cast is just great, and it looks so like I love the color of like Gotham City and just the feeling of the underworld. Like that's what I want because like I don't know the way they portrayed Gotham City in this is like the scenery is how I picture it being, not so much like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight. As much as I love those movies, it's just like I don't know. Like those ones just feel like I'm in Chicago as much like and it is filmed in Chicago in like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. So
Yeah.
yeah, this one like I actually feel like I'm in Gotham. It's great. Yeah. Love it. Can't wait to watch it again.
Beautiful.
Fucking
Oh,
love this
can't
movie.
wait for the next one.
Yeah, cannot
Great
wait
film.
for the next one. And also, like, man, Colin Farrell, like,
He does no wrong.
unrecognizable. It's
He ate it.
insane how
Yeah.
unrecognizable he is. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And
Alrighty.
John Turturro as Carmine,
yeah.
also good shout out.
He's great.
I enjoyed that a lot.
All right, Spencer, number 6.
My numbers. That was a great pick, Kyle. That was great.
Oh, well, thank you.
My number 6. It's already been talked about today once, but it is The Northman
Yeah.
by
Hell
Robert
yeah.
Eggers. A great film, and you know what? I was a little bit late to the Northman hype. I'll admit, you know, because I was definitely so excited to see this film, and I think I even put it on my 2022 most anticipated list too, way back when we did it. Because I don't know, I remember talking about it with you guys, but I don't know, just something happened where I never got around to going to see it. It was kind of unavailable to go see somewhere close to me, and I don't know, I'm not one to be swayed by the reviews or anything, but it something about this being like the most studio film yet of Robert Eggers' career kind of deterred me from going to see it in the theaters. It is his first man, if you will. So I don't know, but then I finally got around to see it, and I loved every bit about it. It was phenomenal. Alexander Skarsgård proves that he's like a good physical and dramatic actor. Nicole Kidman was so damn creepy. The little twists and turns in the story too. It was the right amount of like wickedness, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, I love Anya Taylor-Joy. The nice little Ethan Hawke cameo. Love me the Hawk whenever he's in a film or something, you know. Always turns into a great performance. And I don't know, I really cared about Alexander Skarsgård's character. Even though I don't know, I don't think Ethan Hawke was like a good guy necessarily in the movie, but there's something about watching your dad's head be like cut off in front of you, and then have your uncle come after you and try and kill you.
I mean,
It
yeah,
just
it's
gets you
quite the
going, you know?
motivation.
It gets you going. It's great character motivation, and Robert Eggers handled it with grace, and he didn't make it cheesy. He didn't kind of overplay his hand. It was just a gritty, gory, brutal epic, you know? And one that I don't think Robert Eggers, and he's even said this, I don't think he'll ever make something like this ever again.
And I'm
Yeah,
cool with that.
you definitely won't.
So
All
I
right.
think in time, it's only gonna become more special.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally
Shout
agree.
out Ethan Hawke in his performance this year in The Black Phone. Also a little fun romp there.
I still need to watch that.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
It's a fun little romp. I enjoyed it.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I gotta
I've
watch
heard
that.
it's a good time.
Probably
Yeah.
won't.
Alrighty.
Ah,
My number
it's a good
5,
time.
Black phone.
Best Picture nominee, Triangle of Sadness.
That's
I'm
number
very
5.
happy that it was a Best Picture nominee. I like Ruben Östlund quite a bit, and I don't know. It was just the right amount of craziness, the right amount of like just unique filmmaking that we don't really see too much. And I don't know, it just worked right. All the characters were like absurd but reserved at the same time. It was a really good use, or it was just a really good absurd comedy that was also kind of laid back with its presentation of everything. Because yeah, it really eases you into it. I think some of the scenes at the very beginning where he's just like talking to his girlfriend and like nothing really has happened yet, they're not even on the boat or anything, I thought those were great. They set it up really well. The boat going down, Woody Harrelson on the PA speaker is probably my favorite sequence. Absolute madness everywhere. And yeah, when they got on the island, it's fun. I really did like the ending quite a bit and what happened there. But yeah, distinct segments, but just really great moments and really, really great comedic writing, in my opinion. I thought it was very refreshing to see. Alrighty.
I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, it's just so fun. It's just so fun. I would recommend it to anybody. All right. Noah, you're number 5.
My number 5. My number 5 this year. I truly implore anybody who is a fan of the horror genre to watch this movie, because it is so different and it's so out there, and it is such a breath of fresh air to what we usually see in the horror genre. I'm talking about Canadian director Kyle Edward Ball's debut feature, Skinamarink. And
Yeah.
this is not a film for everybody. It's really not, because it is, as I've seen a lot of people online talk about it, nothing's happening. It's farthest from the truth. Nothing happens because it's all embedded in the scene. We're not watching, jump scares or action or what we typically tend to expect from big budget or even like moderate budgeted horror films. This is a micro budget horror film that is supposed to encapsulate an idea, a memory, a feeling that everybody has in their life. There is just a mystery behind every corner. There is tension in every shot. It is so it's so patient in its approach to tension, and every bit of dialogue, the limited amounts of dialogue you do get, every bit of dialogue has meaning behind it. It has fear behind it. There is just something about this film that just approaches certain ideas with such a different approach than I've seen in horror films over the last 15, 20 years. It's really different. And if watching it for 100 minutes is too much, watch Ball's short film Heck, which is half the runtime, sort of a build to this. It came out a few years ago. Highly recommended as well. Very similar in approach, and I feel like Skinamarink just takes those ideas and just brings them up to another level. I think it's just such a fun time and so different. If you're looking for something different and you're okay with the approach, and if you go into it with an open mind as a horror fan, I think you'll really, really enjoy it. It's so fun. And yeah, I love it.
All right.
Skinamarink, go
Yeah, I
watch
thought
it.
it was gonna be higher on your list, honestly.
Yeah, it was number one for you for a little bit, I remember.
It hit me with the number one. I did watch it a second time. It got knocked down a tiny bit, but it's still just that good.
All right.
Cannot wait to see what else we see in this style. I really hope Kyle Edward Ball continues in this approach to horror filmmaking.
Yeah, I feel like I'm scared to watch it, not because I'm scared it's gonna be scary, just because I'm scared it's gonna be bad.
It's not.
Like, not
I will
bad,
say
but like, just like that, I won't like it. But
I
I'll try
completely
to
understand, and it's a lot of people.
I'm excited to watch it. Well, you know me, I'm not the biggest found
Yeah.
footage fan, so but
It's that's the thing. It's not really like found footage in a sense. Like it's almost like you're watching memory through a camera. Like it's not even
Oh, that's
found
cool.
footage in that.
yeah, the way
It's-
you
it's-
described it sounds. Yeah, I'd like to check it out.
I highly recommend it because it's just so different. It's like you're watching Paranormal Activity from the perspective of a memory. It's really, really cool. And I'm a big Paranormal Activity fan. And if I'd put it in the same category as some of the best moments from the Paranormal Activity franchise.
all right.
Interesting.
All right, Kyle, number
This
5.
guy's Canadian.
Number 5. Yes, my number 5 film of 2022 is the Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I won't talk about too much because I think it's going to be on a couple other lists here, or at least one. But yeah, I don't know. I always like to see original films doing really well at the box office and hitting a core. And I know, like, for context, my parents watched 30 minutes of this movie. They turned it off. They absolutely hated it. They could not stand it, could not follow what was going on. And I can understand why. It is a little confusing in some ways, but I don't know. I think why this is like struck a chord with people is it's just so like I don't know how to phrase it. It's like the movie's sincere, but it's also silly. Like it's also like, all over the place. It's absurd. It's like confusing, but like the heart is there. And I just think the whole theme of it is just about, using kindness and being vulnerable with people and like to like, make the world better, to bring peace to the multiverses. Like it's a weird theme, but I don't know. I think it's really good, really powerful. I love the ending. I could see why a lot of people don't like it, but I'm happy it won Best Picture, and yeah, won't go too much more than that. Love it.
All right, perfect.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
That is my
Very good,
5.
very good.
Of course.
Fantastic pick.
All right,
Doesn't get any better than that.
Of course.
Spencer, number 5.
Number 5, and another repeat of something that was mentioned earlier, is Bones and All.
Ooh.
And you
Five.
know what? I went through my own little phase of kind of being like what we talked about earlier, kind of being or taking notice to the Timmy-isms, or kind of the formula that he brings to his characters and stuff. I was kind of getting tired of that, and I was having Timmy fatigue. But when I finally did get around to seeing this film, you know what? He wrote me right back in. And that's not to say that the movie was even about him. The movie wasn't about him at all.
Yeah.
It was about Taylor Russell's story and her character. And she was the major standout in this film. Honestly, like, she carried the whole film. It didn't even really feel like a Luca Guadagnino film in many places. Um, but he did a great job, and maybe that was the whole point of it. He kind of wanted to have this kind of like dirty road trip, kind of like grimy, um, small town American violence feel to it, where it didn't really have his soul behind it. But Taylor Russell was definitely the standout, and she's Canadian. I found out after watching this film. So
Oh,
just a brutal story, just gross and very sad in many ways. And I was surprised by how much I kind of cared about these two fucked up people. Um, and the ending has just stuck with me for months now, if I'm being honest. It's
Oh,
not
the
even like this is
ending.
ever going to be a movie where I need to watch again necessarily, but the fact that it's left this lasting impression on me of something so twisted and so um like almost melodramatic in many ways, but done with so much grit, I think it deserves a nod on this list for that alone. But the performances were great and the direction was great, so definitely one of my favorites of the year at number 5.
Alrighty.
yeah.
My number
Still,
five, or my
still
number
need,
four.
still need to see it.
Yeah, you do. My number 4, we saw it, Tiff Kyle. Banshees of
Yeah.
Inisherin. It was the one I wanted to see the most at TIFF, and I'm very, very happy that we did. What can I say? I love me some Martin McDonagh. Each one of his films, his features, Seven Psychopaths, In Bruges, which is probably my favorite, and then Three Billboards. Oh, dude, he's such a master at writing. I know he's a playwright and everything, and he just absolutely kills it every single time. And because this story it's very easy to follow. It's quite easy to follow, quite a simple premise, and he is the master at milking the absolute insanity out of like any scenario, really. But it in a very like subtle, deadpan way at the same time. Him and Colin Farrell are just a perfect match for each other, and Brendan Gleeson plays his part
Oh yeah.
amazing as well. Oh man, it was just an absolute ride, and it's like the serious bits also just like hit very hard as well. Just what goes on, but oh, it's just his movies are always a breath of fresh air, and yeah, I'll watch anything he does. He's a master. I love him. He was my
Absolutely.
choice for the best original screenplay, but alas, I do love Everything Ever All at Once as well. But yeah, he's great. Love me some Martin.
Gotta love him.
Noah,
Fantastic pick.
Monsieur, number
Love
4.
it.
My number 4 of the year. It's a fantastic documentary. I did not see Navalny, and of which I'd heard is a fantastic documentary of the year as well. But I was really hoping and polling for All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
I've heard
This
it's really great.
Yeah.
this doc is fantastic. This is a really, really good documentary, and it's just fantastic. Laura Poitras, who directed Citizen 4, Oscar-winning documentarian, directed Citizen 4 and The Oath, a number of other fantastic documentaries over the years. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed is absolutely fantastic. It takes two stories interwoven, one of a history of the photographer and artist Nan Golden from her own perspective, her growing up in a conservative household, her and her sister dealing with mental health issues, moving to New York into the 70s and 80s art scene, interwoven with Nan Golden present day dealing with activist group Pain, seeking to remove the name Sackler from art exhibits all over the world. Sackler being the name behind Purdue Pharma, behind OxyContin and the opioid epidemic. Both these stories come together in some incredible moments, both harrowing and depressing, and inspiring. So many great stories of Nan's experiences with incredible artists such as who was it? Keith Haring and this is just some other amazing artists behind the scenes. So it's just such an emotional piece of cinema and a fantastic documentary. Some other Cookie Mueller and David Wojnarowicz, some other fantastic artists who perished during the AIDS epidemic. Another amazing sequence in the film. Highly recommend this documentary. It's one of the best I've seen in quite a few years. And yeah, just go watch it. It's so good. So good.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Great choice. All right, Kyle, number 4.
I can't wait to watch that. My number 4 is my mic on. Sorry.
Sure
Gotta
is.
cut out. All right.
Yep.
My number 4, it's already been talked about many times. My number 4 is Nope. I absolutely love it. I think Jordan Peele took a big risk on this one, because I think the one issue I had with Us was the ending was a little in your face. Like, it just ended with a final monologue with Lupita, and it was just like, I don't know. I would have rather liked to figure out the theme of the movie on like in a more subtle way, and and then Nope comes out, and it's like entirely just very subtle themes about like everything you talked about, Noah, with how we capture nature and art's response to nature, stuff like that. And yeah, I love it. It looks beautiful. I was very sad it didn't get a cinematography nomination at the Oscars,
That would've
because
been nice.
just would have been nice. And I also think that's just cheap by the Oscars, because they just nominated Get Out because of the success of the box office it had, and then kind of left Nope out of the picture. But I don't know. But yeah, just everything about it. Whole cast is great. Yeah, Keke Palmer is definitely the standout. And yeah, great in every way. Definitely, this is
Truly
probably
well
it honestly might be competing with Get Out for my favorite one. I'd
Yeah,
say.
totally.
I love this one a lot, and the sequences on the show are just like. That's my only gripe. We could have used more of the monkey, but yeah, great.
All right, Spencer, number 4.
Number 4, also already mentioned before, Top Gun Maverick. Just,
Yeah.
I don't need to explain it. Like we talked about it before, but Tom Cruise, he truly saved cinema. I didn't think it was possible, but he did.
He did it.
He did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. So, yeah, and okay, I'll also talk about Miles Teller too. Miles Teller was great, and I agree with you. I'm really happy about him kind of having like a mini comeback. Like, I don't know, he still has like his diehard fans, at least in the mainstream, showing what he can do and what he's all about as and the personality that he brings to his roles. Like, I'm kind of happy that he had like a mini comeback and a role where he could play the good guy and still have like some of that charm and charisma that is like so special about him.
Absolutely.
So
Love it.
you know what, Jennifer Connelly, like she was
Yeah.
good. She was good. She made
Yeah,
me care
she was
about
good.
her. Even like, I don't know, their relationship was just kind of like thrown together in this movie. And it was really well done. I don't know, Tom Cruise, he just like again, I think that's the theme of my list today. Is like, it's some people just knowing when to not take themselves too seriously and just going for it. And he really went for it with this movie, with what he believed in, even with the promotional campaign. Just like being, no, I'm not releasing this movie through the pandemic until people can sit in the theaters, because that's the way we made this project to be seen. And I don't care if I have to wait a year. That's what he did. He's rewarded for it. So props to you, Tom.
Respect it.
I'm tipping my beer glass right now.
Good old
Also,
Tom.
absolutely love how when he finally gets with Jennifer Connelly, it's only after his real boyfriend Iceman dies. So,
Yep.
gotta love that.
Cold.
That was his true
Yep.
love. That's what I got
Iceman
from it.
wanted him to be happy.
Exactly.
You know.
For the record, Top Gun was my number 11. But
Ooh.
all right.
That's why I scolded you when you announced that.
All right, number 3,
Rivers.
top 3. I think all my top 3 have been mentioned already. My number 3 is The Northman. Again, very excited for it. I love his previous stuff, and The Northman delivered. Again, it was one of those movies where it was like, it was very easy to follow. It was very straightforward, and it just did everything right. And yeah, I think that's, oh God, it was so epic. It was so brutal. I love how the kid version of him just repeats exactly his motivations throughout the movie. They never change. They never deter. We had a nice Revenge of the Sith showdown at the very end, which, of course, love it. I'm sure that was
Yeah.
intentional.
It
But
was very Revenge of the City.
yeah, just the way he goes about everything, it's brutal. I love the just sneaking around. It's a grand adventure. And yeah, it's just exactly what I wanted. And I think only Robert Eggers could have pulled it off. And so it was just such a satisfying movie to watch on the big screen. I thought it was fantastic. Okay, that was my
Yeah,
number 3.
Josh, I'll get right into it because my number 3 is also The Northman.
Oh, Northman. All right, yeah.
So, dude, yeah, it's like watched it again, and it's just, oh my God, it's so good. The entire sequence, everything on when he gets off the boat
Yep.
and goes to his uncle's island, like everything there is just perfect. It's phenomenal. Like the night scenes are my favorite part. It's just, I don't know how that worked with the camera. Like I'm not a filmmaker.
When
But
he's
like
on
it's
top
just
of all the huts, sneaking around. Oh,
like yeah, and like it's like gray and like the contrast of like the fire when they show it at night. It's just, oh my God, like the atmosphere overall, just every place, every location that they are, it's just so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. My only flaw is I think this shows the studio involvement. I don't think he wanted Nicole Kidman in this movie. I I don't see how she fit in it at all. She was the one thing that took me out of it. I don't know.
I
Like
am
she
not a
plays the
Nicole-
part well, but yeah, like she's a great actress. She's done a lot of great things. I just think like that was absolutely a studio way to just get, an A-list actress on the card so they can promote it. And it ended up not working out because this movie absolutely bombed at the box office, which is sad, but
Very
also not surprising because I remember hearing when Warner Brothers was releasing it. It's like, why? Like, and I'm happy Eggers is not going to continue with it because,
Yeah, he's
but he
better off.
killed it anyway because it's still absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm a noted Nicole hater as well, so I agree with your statement.
I don't hate Nicole. I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
Didn't see the need.
All right, Noah, number 3.
My number 3. My number 3 today is Tar. And
Yep.
I love me some Todd Field. I like how he takes just decades in between his films to make them perfect and to hone his craft. And his debut feature, In the Bedroom, is still to this day just one of my favorite, just one of my favorite things just ever. It's so great. I love that movie. And then to follow it up with Tar is, well, he followed it up with Little Children, but then almost 20 years later, 15 years later, he puts out Tar. And this is just such a fun movie with just a powerhouse performance from Cate Blanchett. And just the presentation of her character from the minute the film starts as this obsessive artist that cares about her craft so much that everything else in her life just passes her by to the point where she just gets so angry at life and everything besides her artwork is just gives her so much disdain and it becomes her downfall. It's just such a wild ride. And I think it's so fantastic. And I didn't feel the runtime like some people did. I just think every bit of this film is necessary. I thought the score was terrific for a film about classical music. I thought she was just fantastic in the role. I thought the supporting cast was also very, very good. Nina Hoss, Naomi Merlant were both fantastic as well. I really hope it doesn't take Todd Field another 15 years to direct a film, but if it takes 15 years to make something as good as Tar, take all the time you need. It's this is great. This is really, really great stuff.
All right. Great choice. I do love Tar as well. All right.
You have to check that
Spencer,
one out.
number 3.
Still
Spencer.
got to see it. Yeah, I might watch it tonight.
Ooh. Do you have
Ooh.
2.5 hours to spare?
All right. Sorry, my number 3 is it's already been mentioned again. I actually all 3 of these movies also have
Yep.
all been mentioned.
Same here.
The number 3 is going to be The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonagh, the Lord and Savior Martin McDonagh.
Yes, sir.
Like Josh, I'm also in the I don't know what the Marty McDonagh fan club is, but we're in the Marty McDonagh fan club.
Oh,
So is-
100%.
I think we all are.
Uh,
But I don't know, there's just something about his writing style that I feel like he picks his actors so well, and some of them are frequent collaborators. Um, I would just watch him write something set anywhere, and I feel like I would enjoy it. It just has this unique style that plays so well to each actor's strengths in every single movie that he's in, and this one was no different. Or every single movie that he's wrote. This one was no different. And I feel like I did this the right way, where I had made sure that I had watched In Bruges well before, so that I could kind of appreciate this pairing a lot more.
Yeah.
And they did not disappoint at all, you know. Like Josh said, there's not much to say about like the plot. It's a very simple Marty McDonagh plot, but I think everything was just done effectively, and the ending was very satisfying.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Hell yeah.
So good. So good. Got to rewatch it.
Probably the best written movie of the year.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Okay. Number 2. The Batman.
Number 2.
The Batman.
Oh, baby.
Has to be the Batman. I mean, when did it come out? February last year? March last year? Something like that. I've seen it
March.
twice. And, again, it hits right. Honestly, I got to rewatch it again if I want to talk accurately about it. But, I wrote The Barman instead of Batman. The Batman. Yeah, what do I have to say about The Batman that hasn't been said? It looks great. It looks phenomenal. Love Robert Pattinson. Emo Robert Pattinson's great. He cares so much more about his persona as Batman in this. And I think, like, he is having, like, an internal clash between being Bruce Wayne and being Batman in this one more than in any other Batman movie. And I love that because, yeah, even when he's Bruce Wayne, he's always just thinking about what he's doing as Batman. He's just completely obsessed, completely in that character. And even though some of the like voiceovers were a bit cheesy, I just love it so much. I just love the voice. He takes himself too seriously, and I think Matt Reeves directs it in a way where you can tell that he's way too obsessive with this, and that he needs to tone it down for like his own sake at points. And yeah, all the supporting characters absolutely killed it. And except for that one little cameo that just absolutely didn't need to be in there. But I just treat that like it wasn't in there in
Totally
the first
agree.
place.
At the end?
We'll just forget
Yeah.
that was
Totally
ever in there.
agree.
Base take.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that's pretty unanimous take here. But yeah. Can't say much that hasn't already been said. Batman's phenomenal. Alrighty. Noah, you're
Yeah.
number 2.
My number two. My number two is RRR.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
And I love me some RRR, dude. I saw this pretty early in the year. I'm glad how accessible it was just being on Netflix. SS Rajamouli, I'd heard of specifically his films Bahubali and Bahubali 2 for quite some time, and I've heard how good they are. Bollywood action films, how over the top and fun and just everything about them. I just heard how successful they were and how they'd started to bleed overseas and how he was making some more films that were going to be even more accessible. And seeing RRR being on Netflix, I knew I had to check it out. And RRR is everything that we got in action movies in the 80s and 90s. It's over the top, it's tongue in cheek, it has emotional weight being set during colonial India, dealing with the colonial struggle between the Indian and British occupiers. Story about brotherhood and friendship. The flashbacks are a perfect way to break up the acts of the story. And as most Bollywood films, it is a very long movie. A lot of Bollywood films are pushing the 2.5 to 3 hour mark. The runtime is not something you feel in this movie. It blisters by with so many fantastic action sequences, dance sequences, some incredible songs, including, of course, Natu Natu, which won Best Original Song at the Academy Awards, which I'm so happy
yeah.
about. I'm glad it got some representation, even if it did not get a Best Picture nomination like they were hoping. I think it should have. I think it definitely should have gotten more than what it did. But nevertheless, I do think it should stand on its own. It doesn't need a Best Picture nomination to show how good it is. It has the respect, and S. Rajamouli has the respect of his peers in Hollywood because of this film. It's so, so fun, and it's everything action films should be. Grand shots of just hundreds of extras, incredible fight sequences, perfect just use of over-the-top CGI effects, just amazing extent. And the two leads are just so fun together. Can't go wrong with this one. I will immediately purchase a 4K Criterion edition of this if it ever happens. Let's hope it does.
I think it's very likely. All right.
It's likely.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a Netflix film, so Netflix and
That would be
Criterion
cool.
they have a little friendship going on right now, so
All right. Perfect.
let's see
There
how
you
it
go.
goes.
All right.
Still gotta
Wow.
watch that too. There's a lot I haven't seen.
Kyle,
Our,
number
our,
two.
our hype is real.
It is real. It's very, very real.
It is. Glad to hear it. So, my number two it has not been mentioned yet.
Oh.
My number
Ooh.
two, yeah, has not been mentioned. Again, this is my top 10, so this is my number two.
Of course.
Hustle,
Hustle.
starring
yeah.
Adam Sandler.
It's probably the movie I've heard you
Ooh.
talk about the most this year.
Yeah, like I'm a sucker for sports movies, but I'm also kind of picky with my sports movies. I think what makes a great one, like example Moneyball, I also don't think there have been that many memorable ones. Like Creed's great, but Creed's also building off of the success of Rocky. I just, the underdog story always hits, but you got to do it really well. I think all the cheesy moments in this have a lot of heart to it. And what I love about it most is this could have easily flopped so bad. This could have been just, hey, let's get NBA players in this movie about the NBA. But like they have so much screen time with Juancho Hernan-Gomez playing the main character. This is a guy who's never acted before, who's an actual NBA player, and he absolutely kills it. All the players, like him and Anthony Edwards and Kenny Smith too, like they put so much work. I could tell they actually cared about making this legitimate and making it happen. And part of it's because like LeBron did produce it, so they had a lot of people coming in to help. And yeah, I just the acting all around. Adam Sandler's great. Queen Latifah's surprisingly great too. And yeah, it's just got so much heart. All the montage scenes, which again, that's a key in my sports movies is, you need a good montage scene. You do. And this movie's got two great ones where they're doing the filming of like Bo Cruz when they can't get him into the combine. They want to get his name out there, so his daughter films them like playing pickup basketball at random parks, and he's like owning it's so kind of, this would never happen, but it's, I don't know, it's a creative way of doing it. His training montage too, and also the soundtrack is just phenomenal as well, which is another thing I look for. This is one I'm gonna rewatch all the time. I already have rewatched it all the time. Every scene I can remember. It's gotten to the point where this movie's just like a song to me, stuck in my head. Love the Sandman.
You put that perfectly.
Sandman's
Alright.
goated.
He is, man. The renaissance of Sandman. It's here.
It's great. Happy it's happening. All right, Spencer, number 2.
Number 2, I just want to say I think this is one of the best made movies of the year. Definitely top 1 or 2. But my number 1 is my favorite movie. So number 2 is going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Nice.
There's not much more I can say about it. Just like the story was so impactful and important and connected to a variety of different generations of people. Michelle Yeoh with like a towering performance above anything that we've really seen from a lot of people this year. And the last thing I'll say is I want my Temple of Doomers out there to rise up. It's our time. Ke Huy Quan, he's back. He's reminding people that Temple of Doom is a top 3 Indiana Jones movie.
Oh,
And it ain't 3.
Well, it's top 3. I'll give you that.
And it ain't 3.
It is 3. 100%.
Dial of Destiny is already better.
Oh, the
the
trailer for Dial of Destiny already surpassed it.
There's no way.
All right, yeah. Everything Everywhere. Well,
Number 2.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is in fact my number 1 movie of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, very happy that it won the Oscar. I mean, yeah, I think it's just so well made, so creative. The Daniels, I love their previous film, Swiss Army Man. Just so much fun. There's just so much positivity going into this movie. You can tell they're just having a good time making movies. Everybody on the set, from any promotional material, anything on social media, everyone seems like they just love each other. They have a family in their cast and crew, which is just really nice to see. And I mean, the final product is just absolutely insane. In this new trend of multiverses that Marvel has insanely flopped, I think that this you kind of have to give this credit for the flop of the Marvel multiverse fail, because it just set the bar so high. And yeah, I don't know. I really do need to rewatch it. I watched it when it first came out, and that's the only time I've watched it. But man, I just remember the emotional moments hitting. I think it does drag on a lot because, I mean, the second half of the film kind of does take place in the same physical place. They are bouncing from multiverse to multiverse, but just the insane creativity, from the craftsmanship to the amazing performances. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis won for Best Supporting Actress, but she wasn't even the Best Supporting Actress in the movie. I think Stephanie Hsu was probably my favorite performer in the movie. I think that her character was so important, and being such a young actress, there was a lot of pressure, and if it was done maybe a little, I don't know what the word is, softer, that it could have ruined a lot of the emotional moments. But I thought in the emotional moments, she would absolutely killed it, and I'm a very big fan of hers now. But yeah, I don't know. I just love it. It's so fun. It's such a happy movie, and exactly the kind of movie I wanted to come out last year. So yeah, it was great. I love it. So yeah, that's my number one. Noah, what is your number one, sir?
My number one was just it was just such a good time. Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh yeah.
It's just, oh man, these two guys, man. These two guys.
Two guys.
This just two guys being guys, man. Just guys being pals.
I'm so happy this
Guys
is your
being-
number one, Noah.
Guys being lads.
Exactly.
Guys being lads. It's such a interesting film, and it feels like something that I'm surprised that Martin McDonagh hasn't done sooner. It's just it's so funny in all of the unfunny ways. Every time I thought I should have been like emotionally warped by a conversation or a feeling or a reaction, I find myself smiling because these two guys are just so good at what they do. And Martin McDonagh, I'm a fan of his work. I'm a big fan of his work. I was very lukewarm on Three Billboards, at least some parts of it. But I'm really glad that Banshees hits the mark that I really wish that Three Billboards did for me. I'm a massive fan of In Bruges, and I'm a big fan of Seven Psychopaths as well. I was really hoping Colin Farrell would take the cake for Best Actor. And I was really hoping that Martin McDonagh got some shine for original screenplay. I do feel like it was the best original screenplay, and I feel like it is the best movie of the year. But I just there's so many scenes that I just wish I could watch again for the first time. The dialogue is snappy. The banter between every character just flows so well. The hints at the sociopolitical situation that the Irish find themselves in at this time are hinted at, but done so well that it only begs you to ask more questions when the film is done about how the lives of these people will continue as the times change. And I'm really glad that they didn't go too deep into it. All we can do is ponder the inevitable, just as these characters are doing throughout the course of this film. And I just couldn't get enough of it. It's so fun. And it's both my favorite film of the year and my pick of the best film of the year. It's so fantastic.
All right, my number one of the year is Moonfall. Now, Moonfall.
Yes.
Great.
It's actually what is a woman.
Of course.
No, but yeah, Noah, we actually align on a number one of the year. Banshees of Inisherin is my number one as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Saw this at TIFF, and yeah, and I watched it. So actually, around Christmas time, my sister got COVID, so all of our plans got canceled. But me and my mom watched Seven Psychopaths, In Bruges, and Banshees all throughout Christmas time, and just yeah, I love Martin McDonagh. Josh, you said it perfectly. Like, he's so good at just dragging along the simplest things and making them quirky and making them like, yeah, weird, but like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, Noah said everything perfectly. The only other thing I'll say is Carrie. I wish Carrie Condon won Best Supporting.
Oh, I agree.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest, like Colin Farrell's the best part of it for sure, but I don't even think, weirdly enough, that what makes this movie is Brandon Gleeson and Colin Farrell's relationship. I think the glue that holds together is his relationship with his sister. Like, it's just so It's so well
I would agree
written,
with that too. Yeah.
and like yeah, like they just you can see it in their like it. You know, it's the same. Like watching them argue, like it's like watching my family argue. Like it's like the love is there, the care for each other is there, but you're still bantering and you're still getting on each other. Like I thought it just both the performance, it's the performances and the writing, but like it just comes together so well. She's also in Better Call Saul, so I was happy to see her. I didn't even know she was Irish until this, and like, yeah, like it makes me happy, makes me sad. And Noah, you're totally right. I'm happy they didn't go into the troubles in Ireland that were going on at the time, because that's kind of the point. Is like you don't need to know. All we need to know is we're looking at the war from the most basic way. Like, just why are you fighting? What's the purpose of this? And
Yeah.
that's really all you need to know. And it's probably my favorite Martin McDonough. Honestly, it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. I agree. All right. Wrapping it up, Spencer. Favorite of the year. What is it?
Wrapping it up. It was
I know what it
inevitable
is.
that-
I know what
that
it
it
is.
Oh, of course we
the
know what it
favorite
is.
of the year. If you don't know what it is by now, you're just silly.
All Girl 2.
It's the Batman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, there's nothing else to be said. It was just awesome. You know,
The inner child in you.
like
just,
the inner child in me just went crazy. It was the perfect blend of all the Batmans before him, but also something new, something fresh. I'm also personally a sucker for an emo Batman. You know,
Hell
I like that kind of stuff. He's very jaded and like very reckless, but also, like I said, I wanted him to be a detective, and that's what they were trying to push the entire time, and they actually like really pulled it off. I think very well. You definitely could tell that he was like very, very smart in the film. I really appreciated that. Matt Reeves did a really good job, and yeah, the sequel's in great hands,
oh, yes.
and yeah, I'll be there day one.
We all will.
Absolutely. It is great.
The best film of the year, the
All
Batman.
right.
Oh,
Well, a lot of
final
overlap
thing about
there.
the Batman though. There's one
Sorry?
more thing that's the most important thing about the Batman.
Yeah.
I didn't think they could make another iconic Batman soundtrack, but they did.
Oh,
It is great.
100% did. Arguably one of
very,
the most
very good.
iconic. Yeah.
It's great. It's phenomenal. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap,
And,
baby.